You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Be warned that once you pick up a refreshingly cold drink from McDonald's and people see just how refreshingly cold that drink from McDonald's is, you may create drink envy. Because there are drinks, then there are drinks from McDonald's.
For a morning brew that really creates a stir, get any size iced coffee, including caramel and French vanilla, for just 99 cents before 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Quality sleep can help boost your reaction time, recovery time, and performance. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is designed for your one-of-a-kind, ever-evolving sleep needs. Only Sleep Number Smart Beds let you choose your ideal comfort, your sleep number setting, and feature cooling layers for more comfortable sleep. Sleep Number Smart Beds learn how you sleep and provide personalized insights to help you sleep better. It's like having a coach for your best sleep. Committed to improving your overall athletic performance? Set a quality sleep goal that's healthy and realistic for your lifestyle. Time your workouts. Sleep Number Smart Beds show your ideal sleep and wake schedule and best times for activities like working out and winding down based on your circadian rhythm. Log how long you slept. Sleep Number Smart Beds track the total time you sleep and the percentage of your sleep that is restful. Believe it or not, sleeping longer doesn't necessarily equate to more restful sleep. And now, during Sleep Number's President's Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed plus special financing for a limited time. Only at Sleep Number stores or sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the National Football League. See stores for details.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Lebitard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
David, you mentioned the uniform thing, which we already talked about last week, but I keep hearing more and more about this. I've read long-form articles about it. It does seem to still be an issue that fans aren't happy with uniforms, players aren't happy with uniforms. And then yesterday I saw this video on the Mariners Twitter account of one of their players, and I'm not sure if you've seen this, but if you look at this player's pants, we have to take the lower third down and we'll play it as B-roll, but you can see through his pants and you can see his jersey tucked into his pants. So what's going on here?
So this is what they're trying to do. Tony Clark met the media yesterday and said, we've got a uniform issue and it's a big miss and I'm hoping they're going to take care of it. But Rob Manfred discussed it. The players are going to be fine. It is way too big a lift to switch out uniforms. You've got your licensees involved. You have to clear the shelves because if it's not authentic, you can't charge the prices for authentic. And so therefore, it's sort of on-field authentic. And so if they change it, they have to reship everything. And the union's not going to pay for it. The league's not going to pay for it. So I just expect some players to just have to wear an extra layer of underwear. But yes, it is not ideal, but it is certainly not a major bargaining issue at all.
So the pants will be see-through this season.
So you have to really look carefully, and of course, cameras are going to be doing it.
That'll drive ratings.
You do not have to look carefully in this video.
David,
to see
not in this.
I'm thankful for the jersey, honestly.
The video made it look, yes, the jersey looks ridiculous. You can see how long it is, almost,
It looks untucked because you can see the ends of it through the pants.
And it really is telling you, would you like to, just whether you want to or not, gaze at the package? Because
So there are no players who play without underwear. Some players just wear a jock strap over nothing, but the majority of players wear standard issue. We give them sort of tight boxer briefs that they wear under their jerseys, under their pants. So I don't think we're in any danger of any sort of penis capture of any of the players. Now, could there be somehow, some way, the next Fernando Seganol that comes out? Maybe, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
What is the cup percentage in baseball?
Way smaller than I thought when I started in the game. I am blown away by the number of players who both don't wear mouth guards or cups.
I didn't wear a cup.
They feel like it hurts. They don't like it on the swing. They don't like it when they run. They feel they've got sort of rubbish. And
a lot of rubbish.
I have really tried to get players to do it, trying to explain to them that a ball on the ball is a real problem.
Is that like
for
a
all the
spring
things you
training
like
meeting?
doing.
Like, what's that meeting look like? The meeting where you're telling players to wear a cup. Is it just that? Is it a cup meeting, or you tackle a lot of things in this meeting?
It's a lot of things. I go from cups to DUIs to let's play like champions to let's ignore the projections and let's try to win when no one thinks we can. So it's all mixed in one. And we give every player a cup, and what they do is they take it out of the jockstrap and they just don't wear it. Now, catchers, there was once a catcher. Do you remember Miguel Olivo?
Of course I do. He always swung at first pitch fastballs.
So not many people remember him. He was not a cup guy. And what's funny to me is when you're
that's gotta be
catching,
mandatory.
that seems like you have to be. But there was a pitcher who did wear a cup, and he was a guy named, we had him, that crazy guy, Jose Manzanillo was a player who played for the Marlins. I can't remember what year. And he had a tick where he would hit his cup before he was able to pitch the ball. And he realized that he had to wear it because otherwise he'd be hitting directly the jewels. So he would wear a cup while pitching. Maybe that's why he was so ineffective, actually.
All right. I've got a number of different questions right now.
That crazy guy.
Please put it on the poll at Batard Show. Does a single player in professional sports play without their underwear on? Because David has said that none of them do. Also, I will tell you that many catchers have had fractured testicles, which sounds like the worst thing possible because of what David...
Isn't it ruptured?
No. You can get that too.
I think it's different. I think it's
fracture.
Worse. I think it's a fractured
What's
testicle.
worse? Put it on the poll.
All right.
Ruptures.
Put it
much worse.
It's a tie.
Put it on the poll at Batard.
I went to school with a kid who ruptured his ball, and he had to walk around like with a cane for months because he couldn't walk. It was terrible.
Oh no!
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. What's worse, fractured testicle or ruptured testicle? And I don't think you got the player right when you mentioned Fernando Senegal. You were mentioning a player who accidentally took his pants off while on the field?
No. Senegal was a player who was famous for having the largest penis in all of baseball history.
I think that was Julio Franco.
No, that's great. Great point. Second place.
Okay, but the thing
I
that
don't think penis size matters if the pants are see-through. I think we're going to see ass crack a lot. I think we're going to see shirts tucked in, David. I don't think anyone was like, oh, we might see a penis. I don't think that was.
I'll take the under on one ass crack. You're not going to see it.
The under on one?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm taking the over.
On white pants, you are seeing everything.
You're just going to see undies. That's it. Standard issue.
Crack.
Okay.
Nope. It's going to be crackless.
We're going to see at least one crack before spring training's even over.
Guys, please put in the lower third. Just put in Steve Lyons getting to first base and forgetting when he slid into first base that he was in a stadium full of people, and therefore he just pulled his pants down to fix them. And I don't. Oh, Tony Clark is there.
That's such an old man move. Old men love to open their belt, pull the pants down, tuck the shirt in. Doesn't care who's around. Pull the pants back up. Redo the belt. Look around. Oh, you guys see that? Whoops.
Poppy does that a lot.
My father one time got so nervous during a Heat game that in the living room, out of nowhere, in front of a girlfriend, he just pulled his pants down and then pulled them back up.
We've all been there. Big
in front
three
of
era.
your girlfriend.
Big three era. We've all been there.
Yes, I don't.
Nobody's been there.
No, I've been there.
Nope, I don't think anybody's been there.
You just by accident pull your pants down,
He
Chris?
was just nervous and crazed. He was nervous and crazed.
Sometimes you got to change it up, David.
I understand no, I don't understand that at all. What nervous tick is pulling your pants down?
I want to point out to the audience that the video in the lower corner that is Cecil Fielder, I said that was Tony Clark, and that could it could not possibly. No, it's not. Is it Jack Clark? It couldn't possibly look any less like
ain't Tony.
It sure is not. It couldn't look any less like Tony Clark. But Tony Clark, you mentioned, has spoken to the media, and you think labor unrest is coming to Manfred's tenureship, correct?
I do. I'm going to take the over right now. And I haven't really talked about this on Nothing Personal yet, but if you're asking me to take an over or under on 99 days, which I believe was the amount of days of the lockout this past time, I think I'm going to take the over. There's a lot of bad stuff going on already between labor and management, and we're still years away. and all this uniform talk, it's just sort of a bait and switch to be distracted from some of the real issues. Tony Clark spoke about deferral. You've got a block of owners who are furious with what the Dodgers did. You've got a block of owners who are furious that their local TV revenue has gone away, while teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees are really becoming more secluded from a payroll standpoint. So the biggest concern you have back in '94 with the baseball strike that canceled the World Series is you had owners fighting with owners. And Bud Selig was really good about eliminating that by having favors with every owners to stop blocks. Rob Manfred's been really good about that too, but there's a lot more new owners now. The prices of entry are a lot higher to buy teams, whether it's Bruce Sherman or whether it's David Rubenstein buying the Orioles. The numbers are bigger, so you're seeing blocks of owners, and that's always a problem for negotiation.
Give me the greatest secret you can on favors for an owner that Bud Selig would hold on to. Give me the best one that you know of where a commissioner is using as leverage power in another place.
The number one is when an owner gets approved. The number one way that leverage was used in my time was when Jim Crane had to agree to move the Astros to the American League in order to get approved as a buyer of the Astros. That is when the ultimate leverage is when it comes to your approval to become an owner. Now, there's situations where an ownership group is chosen. So, for example, when Jeffrey became the owner of the Expos, he was basically told by Bud, all right, you can take over the Expos. However, don't do anything to screw up baseball economics. And the first thing we did was give Graham Lloyd $3 million a year for 3 years and give a guy named Grady Sizemore, who's a name that some of you may know. We overpaid his slot when we drafted him with Montreal, and Bud called me and said, get Jeffrey on the phone because that's not how you behave. You're in this game because of me, and like a parent, I brought you into this world and I'll damn well take you out. And of course, we were scared enough that we fell into line. That's why the payrolls were always so low, because we fell into line.
Guys, I have a shameful admission. Is this a safe space? Is this a safe space?
Sure.
We showed the video before of like that old timey, and Dan mentioned a player from the 90s. I have a shameful admission. I went most of my childhood being a very big baseball fan, thinking that Cecil Fielder was a position. When I was like 8, I thought it was like right behind the second base, like a floating outfielder. I swear to God, this is not a lie. This is not for comedy.
Not center fielder, but right in front of him was the Cecil fielder.
Go out and play Cecil.
Where was the prince?
We got 90 seconds left, David. What do you have for us in the way of a movie review?
I had 30 seconds last week. Now it's 90 seconds this week. I want to get back to Society of the Snow. I wanted to engage with you about this plane crash and what these people did when they started eating each other. Now, they waited for people to die before they ate them, but they had nothing to eat. They were in the Andes Mountains. And it's become this major center of discussion. What would you do before starving to death? And the answer is, of course you eat people, and you choose the largest people first, and you start with their ass. All of that's clear. What I never understood is, why don't you cook the food? They all had lighters to smoke cigarettes, light up some clothes, put the meat on part of the tail, and have a barbecue, but it looked as though, from the movie, that they ate it raw. Now, of course, you do what you got to do, but I worry about salmonella and all sorts of things. But I was thinking about it, and I would absolutely eat someone before dying.
That's actually not true.
It is true.
Put it on the poll, please.
Dan, I'd start with you.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show.
Which cheek you going for?
When eating...
Left cheek, because he's a righty.
When eating humans...
What's your wallet side, Dan?
When eating humans, do you start with the large ones and the ass?
Yes.
I'm not going to be deposed.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan, and this winter weather is a great excuse to gather with friends and crack open a cold one. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. We recently had a pretty big football game, did we not? Hopefully you did what I did. would you step outside, crack open a cold one, realize after that very first sip of Miller Lite that I made the right choice. I made the perfect call. Miller Lite just has that dependable flavor that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to waste any time thinking about what I'm drinking. Miller Lite has the right balance between taste and lightness. It means you get to spend more time drinking with your friends and less time thinking about what you are drinking. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories.
Go to MillerLite.com/Dan
to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dan Le Batard.
Amino Hassan.
Stugotz.
Amino acid.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I think that as a show, we got ballsacked again yesterday, or the equivalent. I'm just using that as a tell-all verb. The Kid Rock story evidently was not true. Kid Rock did not have a You Can't Cancel America tour that then had tour dates canceled in New York. We got by that story. It feels like the internet got by that story. And I just want to ask you guys, as someone who is, in Miami and comes from exile living, when my parents talked about the idea that propaganda becomes news, that you cannot tell what is real and what is not real, and it is part of how it is that you get around not giving people freedom, we're definitely headed to the place, if we're not already there, where all of us are being fooled by everything on the internet, correct? It's not just me, it's not just old people.
I kind of feel like this one, you guys. Come on. You can't cancel America tour? It just sounds so dumb. It sounds so dumb. Like, no way.
You're surprised that something would sound dumb in 2024.
There's got to be some middle ground, though. This is not a shark swimming in a mall.
There's somewhere. It's close.
Dude, no.
It's swimming
it's not close to
in
that.
a strip mall.
A lot of retweets this had.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was told that this was from a not funny liberal website, that is where it started.
Which one?
I don't know. I don't know how it is that it spread. That's the furthest I've gone on the reporting to the roots of our error.
I just want to remember for the record that Mike brought that story up. So when I make like a big mistake in this chair, we can remember that Mike was the one that let that one slip.
Wait,
not
so
to point fingers.
He was pretty adamant about it too.
Let's point some fingers. Did Mike come into the studio told everyone that?
Yes.
So you all kind of took his word for it.
Mike is very trustworthy.
I had read the story as well, and this was on a day that Tony also came after Mike by calling him a boomer because he doesn't know how to speed up YouTube.
Mike didn't know that you could watch YouTube faster. He knew you could do a podcast. We taught Mike yesterday on air that you can watch. You don't know?
No, how did he
I
not
don't know. It was crazy.
I accidentally speed it up all the time. Like, I didn't mean to click that.
Do you ever do that thing where you hold the button on the side and all of a sudden the video speeds up?
I didn't want that.
Here?
I didn't want that.
That's how I watch every video.
I thought that was just the cocaine.
I want to ask Amin Hassan, the Cortadito. I want to ask him about this story that I'm reading right now from NBA Central.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Well, I'm looking at Central. Yes, I'm looking closely. It's got we have CEN.
Gotta make sure you spell it right.
TRAL.
Okay.
Yeah, I no, there's a fake one out there.
Yes, it gets a lot of people.
Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Luke Longley are embarking on a No Bull tour to share their perspectives on the Last Dance story and their experience playing for the Bulls in the 90s. This is hat tip to Ball is Life. But the quote here, as I see Scottie Pippen, Luke Longley, and Horace Grant on stage in suits, is, quote, "A lot of people want to ask us about that bullshit documentary." No Bull tour. Are you guys in on this? Because right now, what has been spawned by The Last Dance is the booing of a widow at a Bulls game. Like, this great team can't produce anything good other than that documentary during the pandemic, because since then, all it's been is poison. It's been poison sifting through the love lives of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. It's been poison with everyone being hurt by that documentary that was in that documentary. And now 3 bitter old Bulls are touring the country to rip Michael Jordan.
This is all the effort it takes, ladies and gentlemen, to figure out stuff. Instead of going off of NBA Central or whatever,
Do I have it wrong?
You have it slightly wrong. The Bulls legends of Scottie Pippen, Luke Longley, and Horace Grant are going to be on a tour called the No Bull Tour. They're going to be going to multiple arenas. The problem is, Dan, it's in Australia. They're not touring this country. They're touring a country.
It's Luke Longley's country.
Entire continent.
This is according to NBL.com. NBL is obviously the professional league over there. It's brought to you by Hungry Jack's, which I'm pretty sure this is copyright infringement. Hungry Jack's logo is exactly like Burger King's old logo. It just says Hungry Jack in the middle instead of Burger King. Like a bun, Hungry Jack in red, another bun. That's Burger King, man.
Don't worry about it.
But yes, they're going on a tour of Australia. They're going to be in Melbourne, Sydney, and Tasmania. And it's presented by Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners.
I have a question for the room. And the answer could be no, in which case just say no. Are we ready to talk about The Last Dance being a little bit more well-received just because there was nothing else on TV than it really was as a documentary?
No.
This is what I'll say, Jessica. I watched it at the time, and I knew that this was incredible. This is why it succeeded. Number one, you're right. Part of it was there was nothing on, and this was the first sports thing to come on, right?
Nothing on.
Right? There was stuff.
I was watching like marble racing.
No, Tiger King was on. Like there was things
no
on.
Sports.
No sports. So this is the first sports thing. But number two is it barters on the most powerful narcotic there is. Nostalgia. Oh, remember when they did this, and remember when it started with LL Cool J, I'm Bad? Everybody Dan's age and older went, oh, nobody can. They just started rapping along with it, right? And it automatically caught. Yes, you did.
Your old ass fell for it.
Did you did?
I think like I liked it, but I think
number three,
the timeline throughout the entire documentary was so convoluted. And I think even as we were watching it, we were like, we know this is Michael Jordan's lens on, like we're seeing this through Michael Jordan's lens. We're not seeing this through, even though they're doing like a Scottie Pippen episode or, all these various different kind of themes per episode. It's like,
no, the Bulls started in 1985. We all know that, right? Like,
right.
Or 84 or whatever. But yeah, so what they were doing was, because it's supposed to be the last season, but they kept going back to the beginning of how they got
But then they go
here.
back and then they go back again.
Yes, they go back and forth. So, but the number three thing, which is the second.
And then they go back to the middle and then they go back to the back.
Go back to the future.
Then like the fentanyl to the narcotic of nostalgia is Michael Jordan, right? This worship of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan could do no wrong. Michael Jordan was always the best. Every way he did it was the best way to do it. And anyone who says otherwise will shut up loser, right? So it's all of that coming straight into people's veins intravenously, right? And then you have, all of this archival footage, which is really cool, of a time when nothing was available. Now we're used to seeing behind the scenes stuff all the time.
I agree the archival footage was very cool, especially like the Bull security guard, all of that sort of thing.
That's my biggest
takeaway. You piece of shit, you.
That meme is the biggest takeaway from that doctor. For people listening,
yeah, we all did the shrug.
I thought it was Michael Jordan doing that when making his 6 threes against Portland. You're saying, bigger. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Bigger shrug.
And if Michael Jordan knew that would be the bigger shrug, he would have said, "Cut that out of the documentary."
Mm-hmm. He would have shrugged harder. He would have come back.
Such a good shout by Jess. That would not have made the cut. He would have been like, too much attention for that guy. This is my story.
And like they got pretty good access in terms of the interviews for the rest of everyone else who's involved. So, I mean, I don't think it was a great documentary. Like, it was entertaining. It was really entertaining.
I agree, but your first part of that sentence tells me we're ready for this conversation, because you just said, I don't think it was a great documentary, and I think that the public at large thinks that this is the greatest documentary of all time, and I think that that's just because we were, like, really bored. There were great parts of it, but it was just, like, it was good.
I'll tell you why the public at large thinks that. Because the public at large does not know what a good documentary is. They think anything that is just glazing for 2.5 or I guess for 5 episodes.
This was 10 episodes.
10 episodes, whatever it was, yeah. Like the glazing, that's all. That's a documentary. Like just because it's real people and not actors doesn't make it a documentary, right? Like when you watch.
You're saying the public isn't discerning about documentaries? Because I got in trouble at ESPN while on ESPN talking about how that was a glorified sneaker commercial, that it was Michael Jordan telling that story his way.
Dan, it wasn't a sneaker.
Sneaker commercials are well made.
Dan,
Whoa, wait a minute. Nike commercials are well made.
No, Dan, I'm not going to sit here unless you call it a sneaker commercial, because it was a Hanes commercial and a Gatorade commercial too, and McDonald's. How dare you? How dare you, Dan Le Batard? Just shove them aside for your sneaker fetish.
Ballpark. To be fair, to Dan's point, after The Last Dance, Jordan sneaker sales went from affordable to exponentially expensive. Like, no, you would get affordable.
It was never affordable. It was never affordable.
Guys, come on, stop that.
No, you stop that. You stop that.
You could buy a pair of shoes for $180, $200.
That's not affordable.
That's if you're in the sneaker game, that's retail price.
Dan, you're not in the sneaker game.
You guys, come on. What are we doing here? Let's be honest. Let's be serious.
Put it on a poll at Le Batard Show. Is a $200 sneaker affordable?
In this economy, it's affordable. Trust me.
In any economy, it's not affordable.
Roy, you're wearing Skechers right now. We can't talk about this, please.
Come on, these are Nikes, dude.
I don't know what those are. Those are not Nikes, bro.
Stop shoe shaming. Stop shoe shaming. Yikes? He's got Air Yankees.
Well, these are baseball turfs, so yeah, they might as well be Air Yankees.
Baseball turfs?
Don't shoe shame him.
Long story short, the same shoe that you could have bought for $200 in February of 2020 went up to $400, $500 in April of 2020 after the
I'm
last
really
dance.
happy I started this conversation.
No, I have a group chat where every time they try to fire up LeBron versus Jordan, I just lose my mind. And so I have a friend of mine, Elite, the producer, who literally just all he does is just say, "So how would you compare this to LeBron and Jordan?" and just walks away, watches the implosion happen.
I want to talk about LeBron James in a second because I want to get your thoughts on him saying that he has never been great at accepting praise. Calls himself the king and has a chosen one tattoo.
I don't like attention.
But also LeBron learning that, or saying he learned of that Golden State trade the rest of the same time that the rest of us did, that he knew nothing of it until Ramona Shelburne reported that he could have gone to the Golden State Warriors. But before we do that, let's just put up Jess's meme from The Last Dance. And this only became a thing because of his hair, correct? It's nothing else other than the security guard's hair. It's not his cockiness and it's not his shoulder. It's that his hair is flopping and
teeth are great too.
Teeth, glasses,
It's everything. He's a legend.
Very 20
striped tie.
God rest his soul, by the way. He passed away.
So rest in power.
Peace. Yeah.
Wait, he passed away before he got famous?
I think it was before he got famous.
No, I'm saying I didn't know if he passed away before that.
And the segment on the downer. Good job.
I mean, him. You're the one who told us he was dead. You're the one who did that. What is the matter with you?
Quality sleep can help boost your reaction time, recovery time, and performance. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is designed for your one-of-a-kind, ever-evolving sleep needs. Only Sleep Number Smart Beds let you choose your ideal comfort, your Sleep Number setting, and feature cooling layers for more comfortable sleep. Sleep Number Smart Beds learn how you sleep and provide personalized insights to help you sleep better. It's like having a coach for your best sleep. Committed to improving your overall athletic performance? Set a quality sleep goal that's healthy and realistic for your lifestyle. Time your workouts. Sleep Number Smart Beds show your ideal sleep and wake schedule and best times for activities like working out and winding down based on your circadian rhythm. Log how long you slept. Sleep Number Smart Beds track the total time you sleep and the percentage of your sleep that is restful. Believe it or not, sleeping longer doesn't necessarily equate to more restful sleep. And now, during Sleep Number's President's Day sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed plus special financing for a limited time. Only at Sleep Number stores or sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the National Football League. See stores for details.
Starting is everything when it comes to fitness. Peloton helps you start no matter what level you're at. Wherever you're starting, there's thousands of classes to get you moving. Whether that's beginners or advanced rides, feel-good live DJ rides, or artist-themed rides, they've got something for you. Peloton bike instructors keep you motivated from day one. They'll show you the basics, help take the guesswork out of your workout, and encourage you to build from there. And now with Peloton Entertainment, you can keep moving and watch your favorite TV shows and live sports as you ride. Perfect for those days when you don't want to miss a thing. And if you don't have a bike, take a dance class, take a core class, take Pilates, take a stretching class, start a program with Andy, do a core program with Emma. You can do it all at Peloton. You can get a Peloton row, and you're not even going to get wet because it's inside your own house without water. How'd they do it? I don't know. Wherever you're starting, get moving with a Peloton bike or Bike Plus rental at onepeloton.com/bike rentals. Terms apply.
Don Batard.
Doc Rivers. Joel's he's gonna tweet what he wants to tweet, and I'm quite frankly, I'm fine with it. If anything, I want to go to Miami too. Is that all right? I mean, isn't supposed to be in the front office by now? Hey, I can hit the back nine right after practice.
Oh, he'd love that.
Oh my God.
Stugotz.
Man, me and Joel, let's go. I mean, Stugotz. It's a great question. If they win Game 6. That hurts my chances of coming down here and being head coach with Joel. It's a real handsome question, Stugotz.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Before we get to Love is Blind, before we get to the new college football measurement system, and before we get to the Beatles biopic that I think is out
Michelle
already.
Beatles has a biopic?
It is not out already. It's been announced. It's coming out in 2027.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, this is not close.
Wake me up then.
At all.
Who plays Michelle?
Okay, all right.
2 years before Rob Manfred retires, the biopic is coming
Can we
out.
go back to that for a second?
Michelle Beadle having a biopic?
Yes, and saying I'm retiring in 5 years. Like, I understand how these jobs work. It's not the same as like our jobs, but like, should I just announce I'm retiring in 35 years? Yeah. This is just don't. I mean, come on.
Incredible.
Dan, well, what's the cutoff? Dan Patrick is retiring in 4 years.
Social Security, yeah.
She's 50-50 on whether she's going to do a
climbing up,
tour,
by the
though.
way.
Like, she hasn't decided yet whether she's going to do a tour or just go out quietly.
You are saying, Jessica, that it needs to be in a year or two. If you're announcing it 4 or 5 years from now, it's not valid to you?
It's like what Samson said, because he could extend it. Something could happen before that. 5 years is absurd. I understand the nature of his job. It's not the same as ours. It's just silly.
Vince Carter did this thing for like years. He said, the next year is my last year. And then when next year we get here, he's like, yeah, like I said, next year is my last year. And he just kept pushing it out.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Are you really retiring if you're announcing your retirement in 5 years at Le Batard Show? But before I get to Love is Blind, the Beatles biopic, and the new college football measurement system, Amin, take a side, please, on JJ Redick. We've been waiting for your appraisal of this. JJ Redick versus Austin Rivers versus Doc Rivers. Take a side.
Well, I think, first of all, you have to identify the different characters here, right? On the one hand, JJ Redick, great career, long career, played for a bunch of coaches, played for Doc. Some would say some of his best years came with Doc Rivers. On the other hand, you have Austin Rivers, who played for Doc and, played in his driveway as well.
He worked hard.
Yeah. And then the central figure here, the most polarizing figure, is Doc himself, right? So everyone has a bias coming into this. This is what I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Of guys who have played for Doc Rivers, you're welcome, it seems incredibly split between to hell with that guy and no, that guy's great. From what I gather, I've never worked with Doc Rivers. I don't know him. I've never met him. I've never said anything to him, right? But from what I gather, Doc is a guy that sells a bill of goods. He tells you what you want to hear in order to get you to do the thing he wants you to do. Sometimes there's a return on that. Sometimes there's not. I don't know the frequency. All I can tell is like there are a lot of guys. It's not just JJ Redick.
But you can support Doc Rivers in general and notice that he's not often publicly accountable on things.
For sure.
Like he makes more excuses than the average coach, and he does more in playing the media game well than the average coach because he's got a ton of media friends, has always had a ton of media friends, and has made his way up the ladder, at least in part because he's got a lot of strong allied voices. JJ Redick is now a member of the media, stronger than all those media friends in voice, and he's coming after Doc Rivers in a way I've never seen publicly from a peer.
Stronger because he played for him, right? He's not the only one. Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, not totally enamored with him either. And there's a lot of guys with names, right? Because they played for him. They have a credibility that all the other media people don't. But like the old joke is, me and Zach Harper do this joke all the time. It's whenever we hear people laughing at a joke that's not funny, we call it a Doc Rivers press conference. Because the media likes Doc so much that when Doc says something mildly amusing, everyone laughs, right? And the joke I do is when someone asks a question and said Doc Rivers will answer, oh, what a smart question that was. What an incredibly good-looking question that was, right? Like he always throws in like a little bit of like, yo, you know what you're talking about, because that makes them feel good. And so when they write about him, they write about him in positive terms. This is what I'm going to say about Doc. He's a great coach. Make no mistake. Has he had missteps and downfalls and things not to be proud of?
Collapses in the playoffs?
Absolutely. But he's not a bad coach.
Hold on a second. Redick isn't saying he's a bad coach.
Right.
He's saying he's not publicly accountable. Players don't like this. I mean, players don't like that they have to be accountable. No excuses, no excuses. And the guy leading the environment is somebody who's making public excuses, going around at the All-Star game saying, why are you guys doing this to Eddie? Why are you guys doing this to Adrian Griffin? Like, why is it that you're putting me in this position before the All-Star game?
So here's the flip side of that, right? So JJ says this, right? Because JJ is a guy who's like, I don't know about this guy, right? Because he's probably felt the gotten burnt, right? On the other end of the ledger, let's not talk about Austin Rivers. Austin's going to stick up for his dad.
I don't know, though. Their relationship is complicated.
It's complicated, but it's not complicated to the point where he's going to say, to hell with my dad, right? He's not going to overtly go against his father, right? A better comp would be Kendrick Perkins, who Kendrick Perkins jumped in the mentions under JJ.
But he won a championship with Doc.
It's not just that. See, it's not just that.
But Paul Pierce will be on with us tomorrow, and he'll probably defend Doc, too.
He will. Those are his guys. But I'm going to say this about Kendrick Perkins in particular. Kendrick Perkins is a guy who came in this league. He was straight from high school, and it was like, is this guy a good pick or not? We're not sure. And Doc said, I'm going to make this dude one of the best defensive centers in the league. And he told him, you're one of the best defensive centers in the league, and you're going to start. And when the year they lost, remember Doc was beating the drum. If Kendrick Perkins was healthy, we would never lost, right? He's basically given Perk all the confidence and success, not just a championship, but to move on and go to Oklahoma City and other places and feel like, no, I am truly great at what I do. Perk, I don't know if that happens if Perk doesn't play for Doc Rivers, right? So for Perk, absolutely he's going to be like, what are you talking about?
You're not really taking a side. You're taking everybody's side.
Well, you know.
No, but we need your help so we can pick a side.
Oh,
because I don't know whose side. They both make compelling arguments to me.
JJ.
I guess I lean JJ.
I'm leaning Austin.
Leaning JJ.
Nepo babies. Stand up for other Nepo babies.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a side. Like I think all of it is tied into some very strong personal feelings. Like you said, Paul's going to come here and Paul's probably going to stick up for him. But I would say, ask Matt.
The criticism is fair. It's a fair criticism to level at Doc Rivers, and the way that JJ Redick is getting attacked is interesting, with attacks on what his career was from Patrick Beverley, what his career was from Austin Rivers. But the criticism itself, you can like Doc Rivers and say this is fair criticism, because it is fair. Everybody would say that about Doc. He's not great at accountability when it comes to giving good press conference.
You telling me that there's some nuance here, because I don't like that at all in my sports debates.
Am I wrong, Amin?
I love the idea of Dan saying, pick a side. Also, why? It could be fair. Like,
am I wrong? Am I wrong in what I'm saying, that the criticism itself is fair? They're not addressing the criticism. They're addressing the critic.
Yes, of course, because everything is partisan. And so it's either you're pro-Doc or anti-Doc. This is an anti-Doc statement, and I'm pro-Doc. I cannot abide by it. And so rather than attack what the anti-Doc criticism is, I'm going to say, oh, yeah? What did you ever do before you got here? He gave you more money than anyone would ever given you.
And everyone's anti-Doc these days, Dan. Times have changed.
Finally.
The place that we are in is basically, do you like the person or not? And then let's form the argument around that.
I'm good with that.
It's not let's have the disagreement or the argument about the criticism. It's like, do we like you? Do we not like you? And we'll take your side. But I'm trying to address the criticism. For someone who works in the accountability business, Doc Rivers is worse at accountability. Not he gets fired. The accountability is forced on him. He's worse at holding up his hand and saying, my fault, my bad, I'm responsible for this.
Worse than Phil Jackson?
I mean, Phil Jackson doesn't have the resume of failure.
I'm not talking about...
But it matters.
No. But when Phil failed, did Phil say, is my fault? Or did Phil blame everything else, including the way basketball is being played?
I understand why you come by that opinion, and that is an astute basketball opinion that basketball people have noticed. But Phil Jackson forever will be known as a winner, even with what happened at the end with the Knicks. Doc Rivers is viewed by people like you in the basketball industry who know as a very good coach who fails in enormous moments and is known by a lot of his players as someone who will not raise his hand, but will also say it's not Blake's fault, as you will also defend his players vigorously. And what I see happening now in the defense of Doc is a bunch of guys who enjoyed playing for him publicly supporting Doc because he's a coach who they feel that they like and that worked well for them. It doesn't make JJ Redick's criticism invalid.
I guess when you say, he's the guy that's taking accountability the least out of any coach, I'm like, I don't know, man. And we just went through a whole George Karl thing this week. It doesn't sound like he takes a lot of accountability. Like a lot of coaches, surprise, surprise, don't take accountability. Did you guys already talk about Rick Pitino? Did it sound like he took accountability there? Did Deion Sanders sound like he took accountability when Colorado season went the way it did? This is a thing that coaches do. So I don't, while it may not be an unfair criticism of Doc, I don't think it's isolated. I think this is something that coaches do. Very rarely do they say, my bad.
I've heard it more about Doc from players and people in basketball than I have from others. It's how I arrive at the appraisal. I'm not arriving at it on my own. I'm not arriving at it because I remember, I'm sure Doc Rivers, I'm sure someone can play a press conference for me where they lose a 3-1 lead, one of many of them, and he says, all burden on me.
I should have coached harder.
The way that coaches always say that.
Should have done more. Should have more film, less golf. I don't know. Or maybe more golf. Maybe I didn't golf enough.
You are delicate with Doc. You don't.
I'm delicate because I understand that everyone chiming in on this topic are people who played for him. And that's when it comes to coaching, it's always funny to me when someone says, so-and-so is going to be a good coach. And I always say, how do you know? Well, because all these other guys say, well, like, so you don't know. Have you ever seen him coach? No. All right. Have you ever been to practice and watched him coach during practice? No. So you're just going off a hearsay.
Okay, hearsay, except what JJ Redick was reacting to was an interview he gave at the All-Star game when he's 3-6 that was filled with excuses. Like, that's what the reaction was too.
3-7, that's a fine.
But correct or incorrect?
No, it's correct.
Being interviewed and just giving all the reasons that it's not your fault.
Doc had an insane All-Star weekend in terms of interviews. He told Rachel Nichols that there were not one but two other teams to try to get him out before the Bucks. He told SiriusXM, he told Frank Isola that, I told Bucks ownership, why are you firing Adrian? How could you do that? And then he says the thing about, it's hard and it's midseason and all that stuff.
He's having the best All-Star ever.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan, and this winter weather is a great excuse to gather with friends and crack open a cold one. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. We recently had a pretty big football game, did we not? Hopefully you did what I did. Would you step outside, crack open a cold one, realize after that very first sip of Miller Lite that I made the right choice. I made the perfect call. Miller Lite just has that dependable flavor that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to waste any time thinking about what I'm drinking. Miller Lite has the right balance between taste and lightness. It means you get to spend more time drinking with your friends and less time thinking about what you are drinking. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories.
Go to MillerLite.com/Dan
to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Ah, the sizzle of McDonald's sausage. It's enough to make you crave your favorite breakfasts. Enough to head over to McDonald's. Enough to make you really wish this commercial were scratch and sniff.
And if you're a sausage person, now get 2 satisfyingly savory sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33. Or mix and match. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.